everyone. This is EstaRa with a message for you today. It is March 7th, 2017, and I have a message that I've been wanting to get out to you for the last, 4 days now. Wow. Those eclipses were quite magnificent, if you will. We have finished up with the eclipses, and I believe the full moon is coming on this weekend. I believe it's the 12th. I want to say 11 or 12. I'm looking for paper to tell me what time it is before my calendar, but I can't find it. Of course, it's not open to the right page. So I believe it's on the 12th. Wow. This energy that we have been through has been intense. I don't know if any of you have noticed that, but my energy, like the beginning of the eclipse season, it wasn't so bad for me. I was navigating it, doing really well, and I'm still navigating it quite well considering some of the stuff that's going on. So over the last, right before the last eclipse, I had a family crisis that literally put me in a space where I grieved and I felt pain, I felt emotion, like real emotional stuff. And, I went through that for several days, and then I was doing okay, and then it came back again a little bit, and then I was okay, but I'm still maintaining my balance and my frequency and still being able to work with people, but I didn't during that time. So what's really interesting is I feel like I've gotten through that, and I feel like I'm in a foreign land. I don't know if that makes any sense to you. I don't know if you know what that means, but I feel like I am raw, I'm empty. So what I'm getting from this is that we're in such a different space. Like, I feel completely different. I feel like I feel wrung out. Like when you wring laundry out at the end, like if you're washing it by hand, you're squeezing it and just wringing out that water. I feel like that's what's happened. I feel like for all of us on a greater scale. So what I'm getting for messages. So I've been wanting to give you messages for a few days, and forgive me, I've been really all over the place, but not. So here's what's happening. This is the crazy energy. So I had this feeling. I was talking to a friend the other night. I don't remember what night it was, but I was describing to her what I was feeling, and then of course my phone cut off and we weren't able to continue the conversation. And then when we got back on the phone, we didn't continue the conversation. I believe she took it to a different place, so we just kept talking from whatever we're talking with. When you don't catch up with friends for a while, you do your best to catch up, So anyway, what I was feeling, I feel very ambivalent. Like my energy feels not good, not bad, but So what I was seeing is my guides were showing me like a little man, if you will, standing 1 foot here and 1 foot there, and one represented the new world, one represented the old world, one represented 5D, one represented 3D, and they showed me that here, 1 foot here, 1 foot there, and then they were just getting separated more and more and more, and that's happening, and that's what's going on. So I feel like I was navigating the two worlds, and I still feel like I'm navigating the two worlds in a lot of ways. And I feel like many of us are navigating the two worlds because a lot of us are in high frequency. So when we're in high frequency, we're really like able to get to 5D, but then all these ridiculous 3D things keep happening that pull us back into that energy. And I say ridiculous things because I think that's the best way to describe craziness. Like the weird things that are going on in the world around us chaotically, and also personally in our lives, right? So this navigation of the two worlds, I feel like they're separating more and more. And you're going to see that with the people that you're coming across, the people that you're interacting with. And I notice for me, the more I stay in my energy, the more I stay in my frequency, the less I want to be out there in the world. And I mean, that sounds really horrible, and I sound like I want to be a hermit. And some days I do want to be a hermit. But it's not that. I just see the distinct difference now, and it's more in my face. It's been in my face for years, but I'm seeing it more distinctly, and how, wow, that's so old paradigm, and that's like really new paradigm, and pull to that, and that's where I want to be. But when I see a lot of old paradigm patterns happening, I just don't want to be part of it. And I've been struggling because I have a business, right? So I have a business that I'm trying to navigate and live in, and I have to be conscious of the fact that I'm really 5D, and that's where I want to be, and I trust everything there, but I'm struggling with oh yeah, I gotta pay my bills in 3D. Oh yeah, I have to like make sure I have food on the table. I have to make sure I eat. I have to make sure that I'm doing some business stuff. I really gotta tell you, I love what I do for work, and if all I had to do was read people and do healing with them and coach them, guide them, help them find their path, and help them clear energies that have been blocking them for eons, if that's all I had to do, I'd be the most happy person in the world. But that's not all I have to do. I have to do the human paperwork, the other stuff that has to happen. I have to, like, social media I have to do and all these other things. And so the more I see the separation happening, the more I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what to do with it. It's kind of kicked up a whole bunch of questioning in me. Like, what path do I really want to be on? So I'm moving more 5D. So if you don't hear from me very often through social media or even email or even video, it's because I'm really in the 5D, in that new dimensional energy. And in that energy, I don't feel obligated to do all that stuff. I actually feel obligated to honor whatever I'm going through. So if I'm going through emotions and physical healing, whatever it may be, excuse me, I'm going to ask for, actually, let me interrupt that for a minute. Archangel Michael, please come in and clear some energies around my throat chakra. And put a dome of protection over me. Thank you. Okay, hopefully that helps a little bit. I feel a little better there. Okay, so it's not that I don't want to help people and I don't want to be there for people, but I also know that I need to be there for me, because I'm trying to create my future and my reality. And I gotta tell you, the last few days I've been feeling really old and really tired. My body's been really achy, but I actually look at this picture of me and I'm like, oh, I don't look that bad, thank God. But what's really interesting is I'm noticing everybody's energy around me, how much it is affecting me and how much I'm absorbing it. So that being said, that makes sense why I don't want to be in 3D, why I want to just stay in the 5D energy. And also makes sense why I'm always getting the guidance to be a priority. And then, the other crazy things, I have a few people that have asked for readings, email readings, or not email readings, but video readings. And every time I sit down to do them, something happens and I can't. And so often it's because they're like, oh, nope, not right now, can't get the information now. Or, nope, I have to go do some other, fire to put out somewhere, or something else is going on and I can't do it. So I found that interesting, and so I sat with my guys and I said, well, what is it about? And they're like, well, it's just everything is in alignment for you to do the reading for that person at that moment. So when things get into alignment, it's going to come and easily come out of you, and it'll work, clearly. So all of that is part of this new energy. So everybody out there, you have to realize we're in new energy, so we're not in because we're separating more and more. 3D and 5D is separating more and more. And I know that, gosh, a lot of you understand that on some level, but a lot of you don't understand that. But our Earths are kind of the way I used to see it was that they showed me our Earth was here and then another Earth was transposed on top of it. And so one was high frequency and one was lower frequency, so they would separate in some way. And so the way they're showing it to me is we have one foot in one world, one in another, and they're just being pulled apart. And it's being pulled apart by frequency and vibration. Does that mean it's separating, we're going to have two Earths pop out of nowhere? I really don't know. But that's the visual they kept showing me for years, probably, gosh, I want to say 10 years now that I've been seeing that. And I was always like, well, I don't really know what that means. So around 2012, I started to see a little bit of a separation, really started to see a separation. And then gradually a little bit more and more. And now I really see it distinctly different. And I see how people address things in a very old paradigm fashion. And from their old paradigm patterns and stuff, I see that. So I look at that and I think, oh, wow, I can't comprehend it anymore. It almost doesn't make sense to me anymore. And yet I've seen it happen. It's been happening for eons, but I feel like it just doesn't, I don't relate to it, I guess is the right words. So in the fifth dimension, in the 5-dimensional energy, we're beginning to see and experience a few things that are different. We're seeing each other as who we are. We're seeing this is where this person is, this is where that person is. There is no judgment, and I'm not judging anyone, please understand that. but we're all in different places on the ascension ladder. And being on different places on the ascension ladder, it makes it sometimes difficult for communication, but it's not if we're honest and truthful with ourselves, and if each person can be responsible for how they're behaving and acting. Of course, we're not in a world where that's actually accurate, and so that's why there's a lot of confusion, a lot of stress. So my thoughts were, well, how do I handle this, and how do I teach people about this, and what can I give to them that's going to make it a little easier? So my guides were saying that, recognizing the separation happening, recognizing that, and really making choices that are in your best and highest good and in your alignment, and listening to spirit. So just because, and I'm using my work and my business for an example, just because somebody paid for a reading today doesn't mean their reading is supposed to happen today. And just because they paid for a reading for, a week from now or whatever, it's not necessarily supposed to happen. It's going to happen with alignment. It'll happen as it's supposed to. And so Spirit is saying that it's just all about everything lining up to the perfect, I don't really know the perfect alignment. I hate using that word when I'm saying aligning up to the perfect alignment. But being in perfect alignment for all systems go. It's so funny. That's what I just heard from one of my guides. I love my guide. This morning I have Star Trek stamps and I put them on a birthday card for a friend I'm sending out, and I'm laughing because they're like all systems go, and I'm thinking of Star Trek. And by the way, Star Trek is an awesome show, and if you have not watched Star Trek Next Generation, I highly recommend you watching some of it, because they really talk about fifth dimensional energy without saying it's fifth dimensional energy, and some of it's drama and TV, but there's a lot of episodes where they talk about thoughts creating your realities and how to get over your fears. It's really important to control some of your emotions. Now, control, again, I don't think it's control, it's learning to navigate your emotions. But if you watch the show, there's lots of tidbits of information there. And wow, I just totally came off track, and I'm going to come back, but that's kind of in alignment with what I'm talking about. So one of the other things that they were showing me the separation, and I was like, wow, that's really weird. And I feel ambivalent. So I want to come back to my ambivalent thing. I feel like, I don't know. I don't care. I haven't heard from my twin. I haven't talked to him. And I started to feel kind of like, ugh, whatever. And it was my birthday last week, a week ago, like a little bit a week ago. And I would think he'd acknowledge me for that, but he didn't. Was I hurt? A little, but it was more ambivalence again. And there was this energy of emptiness with the ambivalence. So here's what's interesting. I asked my guides a little bit more about that, and of course, I'm not feeling angry, I'm not feeling sad about him, I'm not feeling, I feel a little sad, obviously, because I love him and I want to talk to him, but I'm okay, but I also don't know, what direction am I supposed to be in? What's going on here that I don't have any real direction as to where he is, why he's not, contacting me, what's happening. Now, this is all from my perspective, right? So it's coming from my emotions, my feelings, my thoughts. And so I wasn't really sad, but what was interesting is I was sitting with it the last couple days, and this morning I got some clarity while I was sitting in meditation. And one of the things that I got was that it's not so much ambivalence. It's not so much that I'm avoiding anything. What it is I've moved into a different energy. I've emptied out. So these last eclipses have really emptied me out. I feel purged a whole bunch of emotion. It was all around family, which, that is core in everybody's life, our family, our upbringing, all that stuff. So it kicks up all those patterns and those beliefs, right? And that's also a twin thing too, because those patterns and beliefs are what keeps us apart a lot of the time. So I purged a lot of emotion, and I'm getting more in alignment with what I want to experience with my family, whether they like it or not, or how they want to experience it. That's their stuff, but I need to be okay. And no matter what happens, I always need to be okay, because if I'm not okay, then the people I help and work with won't be okay, and then it will ripple out more, so everybody else is not okay. So they told me I was just empty. And the first thing, empty, oh my God, I feel empty. And I use those words. I actually use those words to describe it to one of my friends recently. I said, I feel empty, but I don't really know what that means because it doesn't really make sense. Well, this morning they said, oh, you're empty. Meaning you don't have the drama anymore. You don't want the drama. You want it gone. You don't want to bring people into your life that have drama. And those who have drama in their life, you want to separate from them because that brings you down. And so manifesting the energy of drama is the old way of being, and by purging and clearing and healing and transforming, we're emptying out and purging all of that drama, all of that stuff, so it keeps me more in the frequency that I want to be in and that I love to be in. So what's really, really interesting is it makes me feel whole. I'm empty, but I feel whole. And so, it's given me a little more clarity as time has gone on about things. So over the weekend I felt sad because I felt empty. What does that mean? Well, I wasn't feeling sad because I'm sad. I was feeling sad because I thought I should feel sad because I feel empty. Or I thought I should feel sad because I haven't heard from my twin. Or I thought I should feel sad because other people are feeling sad. Or I thought I should feel sad because that's what's expected. Now, if you listen to me, I said I thought I should. Well, that's all old patterns, old behaviors of thinking and feeling and what it should look like, the should, Everybody has these expectations placed upon them, and guess what we do? We put them upon ourselves. So if we don't have somebody externally telling us how we should feel, we start telling ourselves how we should feel. So we carry those patterns forward. So that was really profound to me, and I felt very reflective on Sunday and Monday. I was also very busy those days, and I had a couple girlfriends I'm really close to. We had a beautiful brunch with jazz music in the background. Like, we couldn't time it more perfectly. I was late, and it was exactly when they started playing when I got there, and I love jazz. And it was a nice brunch, and then we went and had sat around a fire at my friend's home, and it was beautiful because it's really cold. Well, it has been really cold. Today it's warm. And it was wonderful, but I felt disconnected a little bit and just kind of out of it, but not because I don't love these women, because I absolutely love these friends of mine, but I felt separate, like I needed to be in more, and I was very reflective, like watching the fire, the flames going, it brought me into more of a reflection, which kicked off some of my epiphanies over the next day or so. So then yesterday, I had asked my guys, I'm like, I really want clear guidance. I need your help in giving me guidance about my twin. Like, I don't know what's going on. I feel him and then I don't feel him. I feel him really strong and then I feel nothing. And I know he's always there, but sometimes I feel him so close to me and wrapping his arms around me. And other times I know he's there, but there's a disconnect. And so I looked within a little and found that yesterday I kept getting little signs about not talking to him the way I used to. And remember, I've shifted my patterns with him. I'm not doing the old pattern anymore. However, he's still looking a little bit for that old pattern. He's hurting. He's in his emotions. So all the stuff I shared with you just now about my journey and what I was feeling the last few weeks, believe me, he's feeling it too. For what's specific in his life, I'm not totally sure what he's going through, because obviously he's not sharing those words with me. And I don't really understand why he doesn't share it with me, other than I keep getting the message he wants to be my man. He wants to come to me with something to offer. He doesn't want to offer his pain and his suffering to me, even though we all know I would be willingly taking it, just as you all would, I'm sure. And it's like he wants to protect me from his sorrows. So that I'm not it's okay if I give to him love and gifts and stuff, but give him the parts of me that are pure in his mind, the parts of me that are soft and loving and wonderful. He doesn't want to taint it with his pain. And I forget that a lot. I actually forget that all the time. Because I think, well, why aren't you talking to me? I don't understand. And then when that starts coming into my reality and reminding me, it helps me to navigate going forward. So I have to be reminded of that every so often. And then the other part is yesterday's messages where I don't talk to him the way I used to. I realized, because I've changed the pattern, I'm not doing our pattern, I'm trying to be more in my heart. And what's really funny, because I was a little hurt that he didn't acknowledge me for my birthday, and I thought, oh, he didn't, that's just too bad. It's really making me sad, because we did talk about, this was something that we talked about, how it's so important to me that he acknowledges me on my day, on holidays or whatever, and he doesn't do that all the time, but he'll go on about professing his love for me in other ways throughout the rest of the year. And I don't know if there's this thing with him in holidays, I really don't know, but we just talked about it, and then he doesn't acknowledge me. So of course I felt a little hurt. And I think because of that, I kind of pulled back away from him and was a little angry and had that energy kicking up inside of me, and I was kind of spewing it probably in my head towards him without meaning to, but it still happened. And I didn't reach out to him like I usually do. I actually stepped away. I was like, that's it. I can't keep emailing. But what's interesting is when we did talk last time, I said, I don't want to do the emails back and forth. I don't want to have an email relationship with you. I want to actually talk with you. I want to see you. And so I'm going to reach out to call him. And I always know that he's kind of afraid to call me. If we haven't talked in a long time, he's afraid to pick up the phone to call me. I know he's even uncomfortable like answering the phone when I'm calling if it's been a while. Why? I don't know. I mean, that's his stuff. That's his issue. Actually, I do know. It's from his family, his upbringing and all that. But with me, I've never been harsh with him. I've never been mean to him. Never been unreceptive. I've always been receptive to his calling me and talking to me. But I do know this about him, and I need to be reminded every now and then that is a truth, and I have to reach out to him differently. And so maybe it's time for me to reach out to him. I don't know. I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted on that one. But I feel like we all are in this, for lack of a better way of saying, new energy. I'm so tired of using, we're in another energy, we're in a new energy, new energy's here. Even though that's truth, it's kind of like, I don't know, it feels like almost an excuse for what's happening with us, right? I don't see it as an excuse, though. I realize that it really is a fact, and it really is truth, and that being in this place where we're really trying to navigate, we're trying to balance the two worlds. Like, picture a little man, one leg here and one leg there, and he's kind of trying to like stay without falling either one way or the other, or just giving up, falling downward, and getting lost in the abyss. I feel like we're all in that right now, and I feel that our energy is raw. It's been battered. Like this last eclipse season was really powerful, and I feel like it's going to be, not that we're ever done clearing and healing, because we're not, but I feel like it was one of the biggest purges ever before this equinox, and I really believe it's because it is the time of unions happening. I do believe twins are coming together this month, and I believe it's around the equinox and shortly after. I don't know who, I don't know when, I don't know the details of that, but that's what I believe is happening. I feel it inside of me. I've been feeling March for months now, and here we are, we're in March. So this is ultimately the new beginning. This is the new year, and I really feel that the equinox energy is here. It's here to bring many of us together. So if you think of equinox, it's about balance, right? A full 12-hour day, 12-hour night, like it's a balance. So we always have that balance in nature. We also have that balance with the twins. We have a balance with us. So if your twin has not been as consistent or has not been in contact, recognize that they're going through everything you're going through. And it might not be to the same capacity. It might not be the same situation, but they're definitely going through something. And might I even throw in there, like my beloved and most masculine energy. Remember, they've been opening their hearts more and more over the last, I'd say, month and a half now. So the more their hearts are open, the more raw, the more painful. And while this was a difficult one for me, and I say difficult, but I laugh at that because it wasn't difficult. I've been able to navigate it. It's just been really like healing for a period of time. So 4 days of real rawness, intense pain for me, or emotion, I guess, grieving and emotion. Intensity was so strong that it knocked me for a loop. And I feel pretty balanced most of the time, and I feel pretty in alignment with spirit, and I have been consistently raising frequency and being in my high vibration since October of last year. So, and not that I have never done that before, but remember my guides kept saying, your priority, you need to be a priority, you need to be a priority. Well, I took them very seriously in October, and that's exactly what I've been doing every single day since then. So I'm navigating it. But I'm saying all of this because my twin doesn't have that. He doesn't meditate like I do. He doesn't take care of himself in the way I do. He doesn't raise his frequency. He sure in heck is not around high vibrational people regularly. I mean, he may be. They might, throughout his interactions, he might meet some people that might be high vibrational, but he's definitely not around people all the time that are high vibrational. I'm going to have a cup of tea with you. I should call these moments cup of tea with EstaRa. But I want you to like have patience and faith and understanding and compassion for your beloved, because your beloved is going through this, is truly going through the transformation and changes within themselves. So if that's happening, they're receiving it on a different level. They're not in that balance, that place that maybe you're at, and they're not receiving the change in energy like you might be receiving it. And if you're not receiving it very well, I highly recommend you work on raising frequency, learn to ground. I will put the meditation link inside. I'll put the link in to purchase my grounding meditation inside this video. I will also put a link to my Twinflame meditation that I'm holding on Sunday, March 12th. And I originally said 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. I'm actually going to change that to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you've already paid for the Twinflame meditation, please be aware that that is on Sunday, March 12th at 11 a.m. And I will put that link in here if you're interested in joining that. And that's for all Twin Flames to join in and be on the call. If you are local, it'll be a phone call. If you are not local, I'm going to test out my software yet again before and making sure that it works. I saw that the video was working with my webinar. So if you're not local to the United States, you will probably have an opportunity to do a webinar by coming in through the computer. So just to give you a heads up on that so you are aware and you know, that's coming up on Sunday, March 12th at 11 a.m. And I want to let you know that link is inside, and I'm charging very little. I'm charging $11. The meditation will probably be about an hour and a half, and we'll do a little bit of a talk at the beginning and then go into a meditation for us, for our twins, for us and our twins. I really feel like we need to be supportive and loving of one another at this time, but always, really. So it's really important to raise your frequency. If you're really having struggles and difficulties navigating this energy, please, please, please look within. Please work on you. And if you need a session, please feel free to contact me. We will schedule you and get you on the calendar. I usually book out like a week to 2 weeks. So sometimes a little bit longer. It depends on the week and depends on the calendar and what I have scheduled. But I really want to help all of you. So please feel free to reach out to me if that is something you need help with. A lot of us get bogged down in our past, our drama, our trauma from the past. And if we can clear that and get rid of that, then it makes it a clearer road ahead, you know, and I guarantee it makes a difference in your life because of the work that I've done. And I don't know if you're feeling the emptiness that I was feeling, the ambivalence, the just empty but whole at the same time. That was really powerful energy. And to me, that means I've achieved a certain level where I'm navigating my emotions more efficiently and probably in a better balance, you know, but my twin isn't, and your twin probably isn't. I'm not saying that's a for sure fact, but my guess is they're not, because if we're having this massive energy and the whole planet's awakening, this last several months, the planet's been awakening like massively, and if that's happening, it's happening to them. So if you think your twin is sound asleep, believe me, they're not. They're wide awake. They just don't know what to do with all this energy. So for me, I knew I needed to step away from work. I had to cancel one of my days of work, just fully cancel so I could just be in what I was in. And then I worked really fine after that. But canceling that and knowing that I needed to write in my journal, I needed to grieve, I needed to give me downtime, I needed to watch something happy. So I watched The Golden Girls, good show, really funny, very cute. It was, you know, something that I needed to do for me, and I recognized what was necessary for me to be okay and to stay in balance. And I still did maintain myself. It was a little more difficult, I have to tell you, to do my maintaining of my routine, but it is something that worked for me. And that really makes a difference right now on this time. You know, I feel like we're on the cusp of massive transformation for all twin flames, and I feel like we're on the cusp of massive unions happening and coming together, and staying together, not just the come together, pull apart, come together, pull apart. No, we're coming together and we're sticking together. That's happening, and I believe it's happening right as we speak. All is being aligned for us. Everything is being moved into the place we need it to be. It's not a place of separation any longer. Yes, I showed you the separation of the dimensions, but in terms of union, the timelines are overlapping, as I mentioned a couple weeks ago or a week ago. They're overlapping. So what that means is the possibility to jump a timeline is real. It's very real. And here's what's cool. If you see the separation happening between 3 and 5D, you're seeing where this can actually happen, because in 5D, everything's possible. 3D, we're so limited by density, we're so limited by patterns and beliefs and the old frequency paradigm that we can't see what we can see in 5D. And we're in 5D, people. We're in 5D. Maybe not 24/7, but for many of us, we're in 5D quite a bit of the time now. I know for myself I am, and I think when I leave my space and I have to go into humanity and go deal with human stuff, I definitely feel like I get restricted, and I see myself slam up against 3D occasionally, but not as much, and I feel like I'm in my own little world. Well, that's okay, because I like my world. But we're in it, and the time is upon us for this to happen. So I'm going to bid you adieu, because I just realized what time it is, and I've spent a lot of time with rambling, and I'm going to stop rambling. But I do hope this helps you understand what's going on inside of you and what's been happening. I told you a lot from my perspective and my twins' perspective, but really, I believe this applies to all of you and your twins as well. So don't give up the hope, because I was giving up. I wanted to give up. I felt like, oh my God, I don't feel anything. Maybe this means I'm done and I should just move on. No, I wasn't feeling anything because I was empty. And I was empty of the drama and the pain and the suffering, because inside of me, the core knows the truth. And I have to be conscious of who I'm sharing my stories with, because they're going to feed it by saying, yeah, you should be done, move on, you deserve happiness, you're right, he's not good. Well, that's not accurate, actually. And yes, you're waiting too long. Oh my gosh, I thought he'd be there by now. I thought he would do something special. That's their truth, and that's from their disappointments and their pain. That's not my truth. It could be my truth if I choose it to be, but I'm not choosing that to be my truth, because the reality is that isn't my truth. My truth is what I'm getting inside, what I'm hearing and feeling inside, what my guides and spirit are showing me. That's my truth, and I have to get my truth by speaking to my beloved and saying, here's my questions, here's what I need answers to, here's what I don't understand, here's what I want help for, rather than just, I don't know, skirting around the issues or just ignoring it, avoiding it, distracting myself from it. I have to be direct and speak about it. So I hope that helps all of you, and I'm going to come back with a video reading probably tomorrow. If I do it today, woohoo! If I don't, I apologize. But I wanted to get this message out to you today. I felt like it was really important and urgent, just to kind of let you know what's been happening and what is happening currently. We're in this right now. And I believe the emptying stage is still occurring. My guides are saying until the equinox, we will be continually emptying. But recognize you're not empty. You're just becoming more whole, actually. You're just emptying out drama. Huge deal. Okay, namaste. So much love to all of you, and happy blessed union. And I am so joyous to find out what happens next.